So let's talk about wages for a second. I got a buddy who's an EMT. He gets paid $12 an hour. And he tells me, I only make $12 an hour. I don't think fast food people should be paid $15 an hour. That's not fair to me. I save people's lives. They flip burgers. They're an unskilled job for high school people and old people. It's unskilled, untechnical, and no experience required. Anybody can do it. And so they shouldn't get paid more than me. Well, I posed the question to him. Is all you're worth $12 an hour? Is that what you're trying to say? So I posed this scenario to him. I said, hey, look, let's say that you have $50 million, okay? Can you think of something to spend every single one of those dollars on? Do you think you could live the rest of your life with $50 million? He's like, well, yeah, of course. I said, okay, what would you buy? Would you buy a nice house? He says, yeah. Would you buy a nice car? He's like, yeah. I said, okay, would you buy all the little hobbies and trinkets and whatnot that you could ever want and buy that for everybody else you know and still have money left over for the rest of your life? He's like, yeah, of course. I said, okay. Now, what would you do once you had everything you had ever wanted and have done everything you've ever wanted to do and you still have enough money? Would you just stagnantly live on? He said, well, I guess so. I said, okay. Now, let's say for $12 an hour right now, are there things that you want that you can't afford to buy? He said, well, yes, of course. I said, so can you buy a house on $12 an hour, cash, flat outright? He said, no. I said, how about a car? Can you do that? Can you buy a brand new car and not have to make payments? He said, no. I said, okay, so those are some of the things that you want that you can't afford on $12 an hour. He's like, yeah. So I'm like, okay, now look at this. The CEOs and heads of these corporations that make multi-billions of dollars a year, such as fast food, have hundreds of millions of dollars. Is there anything that you could think that you can't get for $100 million? How about $5 billion? Is there anything you can't get for $5 billion that you want? Well, no, of course not. So my question is why should you pick the fight with someone else who is poor too, rather than tell the person who makes hundreds of millions of dollars a year, why should you not ask them why they're not giving up some of that extra money? Obviously, they can't spend hundreds of millions of dollars a year on things they want or need. Obviously, there's nothing that they can't afford for the most part. They're stagnantly living. They just keep eking by for no reason. They have no main goals left. Maybe they do build an empire, get more money, more money, more money, more money. Okay, well, once you have all the fucking money, what's left? Not much, huh? So, I ask him, imagine this. You've got somebody that makes under $20,000 a year that wants to make more than, let's say they want to make $30,000 a year. You make under $30,000 a year, right? Is it a big ordeal for that person that makes hundreds of millions of dollars a year, right? Every year. And the corporations that profit hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars a year. Is it a big deal for them to shell out a little bit when they can't use it anyways? Or is it a bigger deal to take money away from someone who may have children and can't find a steady job because every employer doesn't want to pay people because they'd rather put that money in their pocket and not spend it? Because it's not about having the money. It's about having the power over the people. It's about being able to say, I've got more than you and you have to suffer while I don't. And so I'm better than you. That's what it's about. It's not about that they're going to lose out. If John Doe Corporation CEO makes $20 million less a year, what is that going to deny him? Is that going to deny him food for his family? No. Is that going to deny him his vehicle that he has? No. Is that going to deny him his house? No. Is that going to deny him anything other than some extra zeros in a bank account? Not at all. But what will that lack of funds do to the person who makes less than $25,000 a year? Well, that lack of funds might mean their kids don't get fed. That might mean they don't get a car, they have to take the bus. That might mean they don't have enough money to take the bus. That might mean they might not be able to pay their rent or bills. That might mean they end up on the streets. There's a lot of people on the streets. I've seen them everywhere. So the real big question is should you be fighting against the people that make just as little as you? Or should you be trying to make the world a more even place against the people that make thousands of times more than you? Is it really the guy that wants $15 an hour for flipping burgers' fault? Or is it the guy that makes hundreds of millions of dollars for making 10 phone calls a year's fault? Who is at fault here for the wage gap and wage differences? Who is at fault for you not having the things you want? You want a car, you want a house, you want kids and a wife, you want luxuries and amenities, you want a nice washer and dryer, you want a nice refrigerator, right? Well, is that McDonald's employees' fault? No. Is that Wendy's employees' fault? No. Now, the CEO is an employee too, but, the CEOs of these companies, they make thousands and thousands of times more than you. And it's taking 1 to 10% or whatever from them to even the playing field a little bit so harsh as compared to taking 50+% from the employees. I mean, at the end of the day, the people we're fighting against have less than us. And we're saying that we should take from them to give to us, to the people that make more than minimum wage. We should fight against the poor and take away more from the poor. Let me clue you in on something. Unless you clear 6 figures and up, you're poor. You have needs and you have wants. And chances are, even if you do make 6 figures a year, you have needs and wants that aren't met. So, just saying, you can't take what the poor don't have. And by preventing them from gaining anything, you're just preventing the economy from stimulating. I mean, in reality, is the person with hundreds of millions of dollars in their bank account that's not spending it benefiting the economy? Are they spending their money at Walmart where the regular employees work? Or is the Walmart employee spending money at Walmart where the regular employees work? I mean, which one is it? Think about it. Who are you fighting for and who are you fighting against? If you're poor and you're fighting the poor, you're doing exactly what they want you to do. Fight against yourselves to alleviate their own obligations. They should be obligated to make this world a little bit better of a place for everybody. But instead, they're enjoying the fight between us all. I mean, it's really simple. Think about it. Think about where you stand in life and where that McDonald's employee stands in life, where that other fast food worker stands in life. Think about how much you have and how much they have. And then I want you to think about the CEO of one of these companies. How much do they have? Who has more? Who has less? Combined, do you and the other person who have little have more than that CEO does? Or does that CEO have more than your entire family and everyone you've ever met have? I mean, at the end of the day, was Robin Hood such a bad guy? I don't know. That's for you to decide.